Okay, today we're going to make some beef jerky. So it's going to be kind of a teriyaki blend. So for my marinade, I'm going to use 2 cups of soy sauce, 1 cup of teriyaki marinade. Make sure it's marinade and sauce, not the glaze. I got a tablespoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, ground ginger, black pepper, and red chili flakes. And in addition to that, we're going to add 1 cup of light brown sugar, or can be cane sugar, anything you want for a sweetener, whatever you want for your flavor profile. So I've already mixed this together, and I'm going to cut up my beef, kind of letting this, pre-mixing it, letting the brown sugar dissolve. And then this will all go with the sliced meat into a 2-gallon Ziploc bag for 24 hours. All right, for jerky, I like to use eye of round. So these each average about 2.5 pounds. So I got a total of 7.5 pounds. If you can see the grain structure, all right, normally you want to cut across the grain. But for jerky, I find it better. It makes it more chewable if you cut with the grain. So the most important thing is keeping your sizes somewhat consistent. That way it makes for better smoking. And we're going to smoke this at 185 degrees, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And a lot depends on your ambient temperature, humidity, stuff like that. So let's slice up this beef. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to trim off this excessive fat and any silver skin. Okay, here's our cleaned up eye of round, and that's what I took off. All right, let's get the slices prepared. Okay, I use a knife we're gonna go 1/4 inch slices, and I'm using a knife that's long enough to do the job. So let's do some 1/4 inch slices here. Okay, so that's what we're going for. I'll come back when I'm done. All right, when you get to the edges, sometimes you'll have irregular pieces, and you can just flatten them out to make them match the same thickness of your other pieces. So I hope my tripod's strong enough. And this will help you get more uniform thickness. Okay, when some of these wider strips, I'm just cutting them about 1 inch wide. Okay, and some I'm going to leave wide, but the most important thing is the thickness, so you have even cooking time. All right, let me finish up. Almost done. Alrighty then, after trimming, we ended up with about 6.9 pounds. So I have a 2-gallon Ziploc bag, and I like to fold these mouths open. If you're familiar with vacuum sealing, it just makes your bags easier to load up. All right, so I may have to do 2 bags to make sure that all the meat gets evenly coated and divide up that marinade. So let me bag this, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's bagged. All right, so I'm gonna pour a little bit of the marinade in the bag first. And we'll just throw some meat in there. Make sure all your sugar's dissolved. And putting a little bit in at a time to make sure that the marinade They don't insulate against each other, allowing the marinade to cover both sides of the meat. Just work it around a little bit, make sure everything gets coated. Okay, and it doesn't matter. Some of these I cut into narrow strips, some I cut into wider. It depends on what your preference is. Again, let's just make sure all the surfaces get covered, and then every couple hours, I just mix it up really well. All right, come back in a minute. All right, okay. By putting the meat in slowly and pouring the mixture as I went, I made sure everything got coated and tossed it around. I got all the meat in here. Let's get all the air out. That'll make things tighter. And I'll come in every few hours. I'm gonna go watch TV. Just to make sure that everything gets coated. I'm gonna double bag it, because I don't want to mess, and sometimes these bags leak, so we just want to make sure I don't have a big mess to clean up later. All right, there we go. It's going to go into the refrigerator overnight, anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. All right. And we'll come back later when we go to smoke it. Okay, I'm preparing my little master-built smoker here. I'm setting the thermostat there at 188. I like to maintain 185. That'll help me when I open the door to check on it every hour, typically. I'm going to smoke them for 3 hours. I'm using my cold smoke generator to load the chips because it has a taller hopper. And I had 3 leftover discs of hickory, and I'm using cherry wood pellets. Okay, the meat is done marinating. It's been going for about 14 hours. So we're gonna rack the jerky. Okay, smoker's on and loaded. And we'll see you later in a few hours. Okay, so it's been 4.5 hours. This stuff is done. I took it off. The thicker pieces, I moved the racks up, and I still have 2 more racks to do. So it's pliable, not totally dry, but it's dry enough to thwart spoilage. There was some dripping of juices on these, so these are what we're going to eat. Fat spoils quickly, so these are what we're going to eat this week, and this other's going to get vacuum sealed. I still can't taste anything due to the COVID, but my girlfriend is giving high praise. Try making your own jerky. That's how I make it. Thanks for watching. Okay, this is my second batch. So what I did with this, I added more ginger and more hot peppers. So this will be a separate batch. For those who like it, I like it spicy and a little bit more ginger in it. All right, so I tell when my jerky's done, okay, this was 4.5 hours, it's still pliable. It doesn't crack in half. If it's cracking, that's just a little bit too dry. All right, so you want it a little bit flexible. And as it cools down here, I'm gonna let it cool here for about 30 minutes before I package it. But that's how you know, that's how I know when I want it done. Here's a little piece here, and you can see that it just breaks, snaps. So that's a little bit too done for me, although it will last longer the more moisture you take out. But this stuff's gonna go pretty fast.